Hey everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shelly, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for my channel. I am going to take you through a shelf, a shelf of books that happens to be an unread part of my collection, and I thought I would essentially give a library tour, but shelf by shelf. And at this point, I think we're at like the shelf confessions stage of my life, because some of these books I've had for quite a minute now, and yeah, I just want to talk through them. So I'm going to actually get into the reasons why I'm doing this. I will leave a couple of timestamps down below. I've gotten out of the habit of leaving timestamps, but I will for this video in case you want to skip through my reasons why I'm doing this and just get to the heart of the shelf tour. But yeah, otherwise I'm just going to say hi, I'm Shelly. I absolutely love books and reading, and we are going to talk about the sticky side of that love today. So if you like hearing a woman chat about her love for books, her love for reading, the unread books on her shelves, and how she feels about that, then I would encourage you to subscribe, stick around. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. Y'all are really getting this uneven tan of mine that I have going on. Oh well, I am human. So here's the deal. I have been getting this feeling, this overwhelming kind of intrusive feeling that I have a lot of books. I have an abundance of books, and a lot of them, much of my collection is unread. And in the past, I've talked about how I really love a juicy, not a GC, I don't know what that was. Anyways, a juicy TBR, to be read pile. I like having unread books on my shelves. I'm not someone that aspires to have all of the books read in her collection. I really like having a lot of choice. I like owning books. I like book shopping. I like all of it. And I've also had this feeling, maybe, take away the but, insert the and instead. I've had an overwhelming feeling that I am getting, there's too much going on. There's too much unreadness in my collection. There are books kind of going here, there, and everywhere. And so I want to go through my books one by one. I want to remind myself what I have on my shelves, why I bought the books that I have, and I thought it would be awesome to go through it with you, especially since part of my collection is genrefied, and that way you all can get like a deep dive into my library tour. It's going to be like a library tour / shelf confession / collections video, which I have done before on my channel, and I will try and leave the relevant videos linked down below, and hopefully it will help me feel as if I'm really getting to know my collection better, that I'm keeping the books that I want to keep, that I'm picking up books that I might have forgotten about, and maybe you all can inspire me a little bit by coming out in the comments and saying, I read that book and I loved it and you will love it too, or I have that book on my shelf unread, maybe we should read it together, or something of that nature. So let's actually get into this. So that's my reasoning why. Let's get into this. I'm like looking at it and you're not paying attention to you while I'm looking at it. This section of my library is what I call literary fiction. And what it is, I think, is contemporary fiction. Now, if we actually, when we actually get into this, who knows what we'll find. But I do know that I consider this like maybe I'll show you and then I'll move it back. So it's this part of my collection right here. I'm going to take them down one by one. I'm actually going to set them down over here. But it's this whole stack and this little section chunk right here that we are looking at. So let's actually, and then I might actually do a light declutter as well. So if I don't want the book anymore, I'm going to put it in my giveaway stack and we will go from there. All right, first up, we have a book that I've actually read the introduction, the whole first chapter of. If there is any chapters, who knows? I've read the sample of it on my Kindle, and then I bought the book, and then everyone said I would love it, and I haven't picked it up. So this is Call Me By Your Name by Unread. This is the movie cover. I didn't even realize that Timothy Chalamet, I don't watch hardly any television these days, and I didn't realize that Timothy Chalamet was like a thing, that he was a cutie patootie, a hottie. I didn't even know. I had no idea. And then, you know, like, I was like, oh, he's in this movie. I haven't seen the movie. I've just read the sample, and I remember feeling quite proud of myself when I read the sample. I was like, Unread writes in this circuitous style that reminds me of Marcel Proust. Then I looked at the author, and I realized that he was highly influenced by Marcel Proust, and I was like, oh, how good am I? So I purchased this, and I thought I would, you know, really love it, but I have yet to read it. And by the way, I'm not going to continue to say that. These are all of these books are unread, so we'll just go from there. Next up, I have Louise Erdrich's The Love Medicine. This is, I believe, her debut novel. Let me see. I think so. Yeah, this is her, at least this, it says it's her first novel in the Native American series. Now, I have read, now I can't remember, I had to look it up. I have read Louise Erdrich's The Sentence, and I liked it. I read it last year as part of my Women's Prize reading. I enjoyed the contemporariness of the way that she talked about COVID-19. It's of course not this book, but this is her Native American series. Let's see how it starts. I have no idea. I've never read the beginning. Again, I like The Sentence, but I don't know. I mean, I think that she has a whole series. Maybe you all can tell me more about this book than I can, but she has a whole series set in the same universe, and this is the first book in that series. So it says, the morning before Easter Sunday, June Keshpa was walking down the clogged main street of oil boomtown, Williston, North Dakota, killing time before the noon bus arrived that would take her home. She was a long-legged Chippewa woman, aged hard in every way except how she moved. Oh, interesting. Actually, this is more readable than I thought it was going to be. Okay, interesting. I'm already surprising myself, so maybe I will pick this up sooner rather than later. I'm glad that I read the beginning with you, at the very least. I'm going to talk about these next two books together, because they're by the same author. I bought them right around the same time, and I was like, I'm gonna love it! I'm gonna read these right away! Blah! And like, that just didn't happen at all. And so I have Mercury Pictures Presents by Anthony Marra, and also by the same author, A Constellation of Vital Phenomena. Now, I've heard people, like, my friend Fraser read Mercury Pictures Presents and loved it, like, said it was incredible. And I have heard, I think Shawn the Book Maniac and Olive at a Book Olive talk about A Constellation of Vital Phenomena and say that they loved it. It was so good, but it doesn't seem, I don't think Fraser's read A Constellation of Vital Phenomena, but it seems like whatever book you started with, you love more, and they're similar. They're kind of, there's repetitions on a theme, at least with Mara's writing, and so if you read one, it's like you don't need to read the other. However, I bought both books before I knew that information. Otherwise, I would have just chosen one. I would have probably chosen the older one. This is an older book by Anthony Marra, and it's supposed to be brilliant, really, really good, thought-provoking. I mean, just incredible, with incredible writing. And then Mercury Pictures Presents hit in 2022, and I was like, I'm gonna read this right away, and then I didn't. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what his writing sounds like, so let's see what this is all about. This is why it's shelf confessions, y'all. Like, I haven't even opened up some of these books. I'm feeling some guilt. Ooh, we have a Leo Tolstoy quote at the very beginning, and it says, "It was this death that I was reminded by the crushed thistle in the midst of a plowed field." Leo Tolstoy, Haji Marad. I don't know that story or that book. Okay, the first section is called First and Second Days. So 2004, in the morning after the feds burned down her house and took her father, Hava woke from dreams of sea anemones. While the girl dressed, Ahmed, let me try that again. So this is 2004. On the morning the feds burned down her house and took her father, Hava woke from dreams of sea anemones. While the girl dressed Ahmed, who hadn't slept at all, paced outside the bedroom door, watching the sky brighten on the other side of the window glass. The rising sun had never before made him feel late. While she emerged from the bedroom looking older than her 8 years, he took her suitcase and she followed him out the front door. He had led the girl to the middle of the street before he raised his eyes to what had been her house. Hava, we should go, he said, but neither moved. I don't know, it's not gripping me. It sounds interesting, but not gripping me. So if you have read both Mara books and can recommend where to start, which one would you start with? Let's see how Mercury Pictures Presents starts. It has a Thomas Mann quote from Dr. Faustus, and it is, what this artificial return mere placating was... Let me try that again. Was this artificial, quote, return, end quote, mere placating? I cannot believe it. Part 1 is just entitled Part 1, Sunny Siberia. When you entered the executive offices of Mercury Pictures Presents International, you would first see a scale model of the studio itself. Okay. Oh, I like that. I like dioramas, model, little tiny, I like little things, little baby things. Okay, Artie Friedman, co-founder of the head of production, installed it in the lobby to distract skittish investors from second thoughts. Ooh, I like the language in this one better already. All right, I like this. I like this so far in the 2 sentences that I read more than this. But let me know if you've read them both. Let me know. Okay, I bought this book. I actually requested it for my birthday recently, back in March, and it is because it was Olive at a Book Olive's favorite book of 2023, favorite novel of 2023, and it's Sirens and Muses by Antonia Angress. Also a novella. I'll leave everybody I'm mentioning linked down below so that you all can check out some incredible channels. She loved this book as well. I know it's supposed to have incredible character development, wonderful commentary on art, and so on. So, Part 1, Chapter 1. Let's see how this starts. I also did a recreating the book cover. I made myself into this image, and I will leave that little short video linked down. Oh man, my future editing self is going to be so annoyed, and I'm like, I don't care about her right now because I am me in this moment, and that's her in the future, and she'll have to deal with this person right now. Stop getting meta and feisty, Shelley. Okay, this is how it starts. Louise's first assignment at Rynn College of Art was paint home. She left home 12 days ago, and now, as she looked out the classroom window, it startled her still to see hills and sullen, huddled townhouses, the New England sky close and cold, nothing like a home. Where the sky overwhelmed the land, a drama of clouds and rain and strange shafts of tawny light. Okay, so it sounds interesting. I don't know. Again, not like super gripping. If you've read this, if you've read any of these and can get motivated, please, let me know. Help a girl out, okay? All right, next up I have a Lisa Kleypas romance. I'm always trying to get myself into, something that will really grip me. Sometimes I'm jealous of other readers, like fantasy readers, romance readers. It's like they found their genre and they're like, they love it so much. And then there's always me, and I feel like I'm reading this massive variety of things, and in a lot of ways I've made peace with with my being, with who I am, that I am just going to be an eclectic reader. I read everything. I'm interested in everything. And I am sort of like a squirrel bouncing here, there, and everywhere, like interested in all of the different things. But every once in a while I'm like, maybe I'll just be totally enamored with the series, and I'll want to read every book from it, and I will consume it like a goblin, stuffing its face with whatever goblins eat. And so I have, I've always been interested in reading romance. Like, I've toyed around with reading the first book in the Bridgerton series in the hopes of like getting swept away with it and being like consuming all, 15 books in the series or however many books it has. So that's my thought behind this. So I've heard great things about Lisa Kleypas. She's got I heard her banter is incredible, like between her characters. And this is Cold Hearted Rake, and it's the first in a series, a historical romance. Anyway, so I have this. I might be reading this for Garb August. I'm hosting Garb August, and I have yet to make an announcement video on that. So I have been quite busy, and instead of doing an announcement video, I'm talking about books unread on my bookshelves. So, yeah. A book that I actually hauled quite recently, and it's Jennifer Egan's A Visit from the Goon Squad. Most people who've read this really love it. I think it's interconnected short stories. The Candy House, it's another Jennifer Egan book put out more recently, and it is connected to the same universe as A Visit from the Goon Squad. I read the beginning of this when I hauled it. It's supposed to be really good. And of course, I haven't read it, which I'm going to stop saying because I don't like negative vibes on my videos, and I don't want to walk away from this chatting from you all just being like, and I haven't read it. I don't like that. Okay, next up, I have a book that I bought because the author is from my hometown, Stockton, California, and it's short stories, which I don't typically gravitate towards short stories. And the author has since passed. He only has this book out. And it is Anthony Vesnesso, and this is After Parties. And I've been meaning to get to this, of course. And, maybe I'm just not drawn to short stories, but I want to keep it because I feel a connection with this author because he's from my hometown, and I believe he writes about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up understanding the vibes that he was trying to convey about Stockton because I'm from there. So yeah, I'm happy to have this in my collection. I actually quite like the cover as well, the bright colors. Maybe I'm just liking it because it's, balancing out the stark white dress I have on. Who knows? All right, next up, I have Hotel World by Ali Smith. I read Autumn by Ali Smith late last year. The first book in her seasonal quartet, and I didn't love it. I thought I was gonna love it. Like, I feel like there are Ali Smith stans out there that just love her work, and I was not one of them. And so I have Hotel World, but I feel kind of mixed because, again, I just didn't love, her work, and I had convinced myself that I would. So this is how it starts. Woo-hoo! What a fall, what a soar, what a plummet, what a dash into dark, into light, what a plumage, what a glide, thud, crash, what a drop, what a rush, what a swoosh, what a fright, what a mad, hushed skirl, what a smash, mush, mash up, broke, and gashed, what a heart in my mouth, what an end, what a life, what a time. What a beginning! Wow. Okay, that actually was so much better than I thought it was going to be. That was really great. I quite liked that. Now I'm interested. I'm like, you could not pry this from my cold, dead hands. That's probably giving it too much credit. I'm interested in this now. All right, next up, I have Holding Her Breath by Emer Ryan. This is a debut novel by this author. It made Steve Donahue's best debuts, and this was a gift from a friend for my birthday. And let's see how this starts, because I don't know. She has the whole pool to herself. She has seen the others off, the rugby players in for their recovery swim, who splash around for 20 minutes and then retire to the sauna. The slow, steady pensioners who breaststroke endless laps. Beth counts them leaving one by one as she sluices through the water, flipping tautly at each end. Well, I do love the pool. This is where this tan came from, y'all. I do love the pool. I grew up with a swimming pool in my backyard, and so it's very nostalgic for me. So that's interesting. Irish Times. I wonder, is she Irish? Yes, she's from Cork. Interesting. Okay, wonderful. Oh, a book that, again, I started at one point and then it was just not the right time because it has kind of a graphic scene. It has a bit of a graphic scene at the very beginning, and I think it just stirred up an angst in me that I wasn't wanting at the moment. And so I think I read something quite a bit more calming. But I have The Hours by Michael Cunningham. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning novel. I have a small affinity with Pulitzer Prize winning novels. And yeah, I just, I don't know. I want to read this. Again, I read the beginning, and the opening scene was surprising, and it just wasn't the time for it. And so I didn't end up reading it at that point. But I've always, I'm like, I want to get to this. It's been on multiple TBR videos. I give this book a lot of love on my channel for not having read it, is the best way to say it. Another Pulitzer Prize winning novel, we have The Shipping News by Annie Proulx. I have no idea what this is about. Literally no idea. At 36, Keole, a third-rate newspaper man, is wrenched violently out of his workday life when his two-timing wife meets her just deserts. He retreats with his two daughters to his ancestral home in the starkly beautiful Newfoundland coast, where a rich cast of local characters all play a part in Keole's struggle to reclaim his life. As 3 generations of his family cobble up new lives, Keole confronts his private demons and the unpredictable forces of nature and society, and begins to see the possibility of love without pain or misery. It's a vigorously, darkly comic and at times a magical portrait of a contemporary American family. Well, if it's talking about America and it's well written, I'm not surprised that this won the Pulitzer, because that's the thing with the Pulitzer, is that it typically leans towards books that has commentary about American life. Interesting. I didn't think it was going to be funny. I have read Brokeback Mountain by Annie Proulx and thought it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I love that book. It's a short story, but it often bound up as a single bind up. It's beautiful. The Shipping News. But now I'm quite interested in this. I'm wondering, maybe, anyways, I want to get to this soon, right? Want to get to this soon. Ooh, another swimming book. And it's called Florence Adler Swims Forever, and this is by Rachel Beanland. I bought this because it made the best debuts, I think, best novels, best debuts on Steve Donahue's website in 2021. So I bought this in early 2022, and I know that it's about grief. And it actually should be set in my historical fiction stack. So I'm going to reshuffle that to put it in my historical fiction stack, because it's set in Atlantic City in 1934. So this is how it starts. Gussie Feldman didn't enjoy swimming, but she did like to lie on the wet sand in the shadow of Atlantic City's steel pier and wait for the tiniest ripple of a wave to wash over her. If she positioned herself just so, her body rose with the incoming tide, and for a brief moment she felt weightless. I've spent a lot of time at the ocean, at the beach, and I know exactly how that feels, although I'm someone who really enjoys getting in the water. Sometimes not. Sometimes I just don't want to deal with all that sand, but interesting. I quite liked that beginning. Another Pulitzer Prize winning novel. I didn't realize I had so many sitting there. Oh my goodness. And that is Richard Powers' The Ogre Story. Now, I know he was having a moment since I've been on booktube with his book Bewilderment, and I just never read it. So, I have this one, which I feel like it was supposed to be really good. And it's supposed to be about nature and trees and have a storyline in there. A lot of people are like, it's about trees. And I'm like, well, I think I love trees. I think I'll love this, but I don't really know. So this is how it starts. First there was nothing, then there was everything. Then in a park above a western city after dusk, The air is raining messages. A woman sits on the ground, leaning against a pine. Its bark presses hard against her back, as hard as life. Its needles scent the air, and a force hums in the heart of the wood. Her ears tune down to the lowest frequencies. The tree is saying things in words before words. Oh, talking trees. Interesting. I quite liked that. Okay, Richard Powers, you have my attention. All right, another book because of Steve Donahue. Wow, you're really getting what I'm attracted to and why I'm attracted to it. So, this is The Ministry of Utmost Happiness, and it's by Aruhati Roy. So what I do is sometimes I go back and I'm like, what did Steve Donahue recommend back in, 2016? And I'll go back to his best of lists when I'm just curious. It's of course really bad for my wallet because then I end up buying like the best book from 2012 according to Steve Donahue's old blog. Yeah, and this was like the best book of that year. And I really don't, I've never read anything by this author. I know that her book, The God of Small Things, won the Booker, and I just picked that up. But again, I don't even know what I did read the very beginning of The God of Small Things, but let's see how this one starts. Where do old birds go to die? That's the title of the chapter. She lived in the graveyard like a tree. At dawn, she saw the crows off and welcomed the bats home. At dusk, she did the opposite. Between shifts, she conferred with the ghost of vultures that loomed in her high branches. She felt a gentle grip of their talons like an ache in an amputated leg. She gathered they weren't altogether unhappy at having excused themselves and exited from the story. Okay, gripping, interesting. Aruhati Roy, I don't know, I have a sense that she might be an author for me. That sense needs to, send me to picking up her books rather than buying more books though. So, yeah. Ooh, another author that I feel like I could quite get along with, and I've heard good things about over the years, and it's Meg Wolitzer's The Wife. It is about a woman who is supporting her husband in his career as an artist, but she's actually the true artist in it all. And this is how it starts. The moment I decided to leave him, the moment I thought enough, we were 35,000 feet above the ocean, hurling forward, but giving the illusion of stillness and tranquility. Oh my gosh, the drama in the first sentence. I love it. So, wow. Okay, a book that is perhaps on the chopping block because I don't know. I think I bought this at a Goodwill, and I bought it because it is, the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. Oh, great. So now I'll feel like I really need to pick it up. Now I feel torn. This is Thornton Wilder's The Bridge of St. Louis Ray. All right, this is how it starts. On Friday noon, July the 12th, 1714, the finest bridge in all Peru broke and precipitated 5 travelers into the gulf below. This bridge was on the high ground between Lima and Cuzco, and hundreds of persons pass over it every day. It had been woven of osier by the Incas more than a century before, and visitors to the city were always led out to see it. It was a mere ladder of thin slats swung out over the gorge with handrails of dried vines. I don't know if it's really gripping me. I don't know. I might unhaul this. Give me your thoughts below, please. Help a girl out. All right, 2 more books. This is Muriel Spark. This is Muriel Spark's Aiding and Abetting. I feel like Muriel Spark might be an author for me. I feel like, yeah, she has literary satire. This is a wickedly amusing novel, according to the copy on the back, and a true crime case of one of England's most notorious upper crust scoundrels. Okay, I love the way her books are described. They sound so interesting. I heard her writing is incredible. And so here is how it starts. The receptionist looked thinner than ever as she showed the tall, tall Englishman into the studio of Dr. Hilgard Wolff, the psychiatrist who had come to Bavaria, then Prague, Dresden, Avila, Marseille, then London, and now settled in Paris. I have come to consult you, he said, because I have no peace of mind. 25 years ago, I sold my soul to the devil. Oh my gosh. It's already starting. Like, very interesting. Okay, interesting. I feel like she's an author for me. I feel so delighted by this that it makes me like, again, I like really want to I'm going to unhaul this. I'm just going to do it. I don't have any interest in this book. I'm only keeping it because it's the Pulitzer Prize winning novel, and yet I don't want to read it. So, and I feel like my excitement for this book in the beginning of Aiding and Abetting is really showing me how much I don't want to read The Bridge of San Luis Rey. I don't know. Okay, I'm glad that decision is over. Whew. Getting rid of one book is like pulling teeth for me. The last book I have is An Experiment in Love, which should really go in my Hilary Mantel stack because it's by Hilary Mantel. I love her writing, at least her Wolf Hall trilogy or her Thomas Cromwell trilogy. So let's see how this one starts. This morning in the newspaper, I saw a picture of Julia. She was standing on the threshold of her house in Highgate where she receives her patients, a tall woman wrapped in some kind of Indian shawl. There was a blur where her face should be, and yet I noted the confident set of her arms, and I could imagine her expression, professionally watchful, maternal, with that broad, cold smile which I have known ever since I was 11 years old. In the foreground, a skeletal teenage child tottered towards her from a limousine parked at the curb. Miss Lindsay Simon, well-loved family entertainer and junior megastar, victim of the Slimmer's disease. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know. I love, again, I think Hilary Mantel, when she was living, she was one of the greatest living authors of our day. I love her so much. I actually even have a Hilary Mantel video that I did talking about just how much I just love her writing. So yeah, I'm going to reshuffle my books a little bit because I've realized that some books need to be in different spots in the library. But yeah, this is my literary fiction / contemporary fiction shelf. Although again, I feel like maybe Aiding and Abetting should be in the historical fiction pile. I don't know. We're just going with it. I'm going to reshuffle some. I'm going to get rid of that one book and we're going to call it good. But yeah, tell me, if there are some books on your shelves that you love, if you have opinions about these books that I talked about, I would love to hear it. But most of all, I just, thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you to all of those who like and comment and are subscribed. If you're not yet subscribed, I would encourage you to do so, especially if you made it to the very end of this video. And with that being said, that's it from me. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.